Welcome back to A Word Before We Leave. My name is Brett Gaffney. This is the final episode of Season 1, and I just honestly want to say thank you at the start. You'll get your thanks at the end, but if for some reason you don't make it to the end of the episode, you will make it to the start. So thank you for supporting this podcast, and without a further ado, this episode is, if I'll be honest, a little bonkers at parts. The interview is fantastic, almost cathartically relaxing through most of it, and I think there is a little bit of something for everybody in here. But I will start with a warning. There is foul language in this podcast, and there is topics that we don't normally talk about that can be somewhat demonized in popular culture. Griffin Katz is who I'm interviewing today, and Griffin is fascinating, but also vulgar, and that does come through. I'm just warning you now. Come into it with open ears, but just know that this is not a family-friendly episode and nothing has been bleeped. From topics of painting, mental health, going to the psych ward and back, family, being an artist, living in the dirt, or thrashing around in your bed, this is the final episode of Season 1. Let's let Griffin Katz take it away. And again, thank you for joining me. And I am so excited for Season 2 of A Word Before We Leave. Are you enjoying A Word Before We Leave? Well, now you too can support the podcast. Spotify listeners, there is a link in the description. We've been over this. If you guys like the podcast, you can now send us a little bit of money so we can get better microphones, better equipment, and overall better interviews. Thank you for supporting the show. And now, the episode. It is a rainy day here in Los Angeles, California. Today, I am with Griffin Katz. Griffin Katz and I are actually co-workers at a hotel, but this episode has nothing to do with our workplace, our side hustle, the moneymaker that pays rent. This is actually about living life experiences and art. And today I am with Griffin. Griffin, would you like to say anything to the people?
Hello there, everybody listening, everybody out there. Hope that you're having a wonderful, if you're listening, it's still in February, rainy day, but otherwise, fantastic
day. Well,
it's
regardless.
March,
so.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Wow. Shows you I've been working too much.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Yeah. The hours are long and understaffed.
Long, and it seems like the same day over and over and over again.
Yeah, sometimes life repeats itself, and sometimes that happens every week.
Yeah.
So, welcome to A Word Before We Leave. I'm your host, Brett Gaffney. Thank you for joining us today. So, we're going to dive right into the show, starting off with the first segment, which is going to be Word of the Day. Word of the Day is brought to you by Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Still not sponsored, but we'll get there. We will get there. So, today's Word of the Day is gallivant. Gallivant, G-A-L-L-I-V-A-N-T. Gallivant means to go or travel to many different places for pleasure. And they provide their own sentence, which is, she spent her gap year gallivanting around Europe with her best friend. And now it's our turn to come up with an example sentence for the people so that we can expand their vocabulary and help them have a richer, more robust dictionary within themselves. Gallivant.
Oh, yeah, gallivant. Okay, well, the first thing that came to mind, which I kept giggling to myself about like an idiot, is priests love to gallivant in Catholic schoolboy rooms.
Oh.
Yeah, it seems right on the money.
You know, you're just warming us up for the rest of this interview.
Lubed up right now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, I'm listening. I'm here. I'm just going to give you everything I can.
I'm just going to give a warning for the faint of heart for this episode.
For all the viewers out there.
This might not be the one for you, but
NSW,
for those that are
for sure
ready to embrace the weirdness of life, this one's
strange.
Perfect. Everybody's a little strange.
Yeah.
And my word is, I couldn't tell the difference between frolicking and gallivanting until I met sweet lady love.
Oh. And then he discovered it was only a skip.
It was.
Truly.
Not even a gallop.
Not even a gallop. Just a quick skip of the heart. That's all.
Are you ready to dive into the questions, Griffin?
Hell yeah, I am.
All right. So, Griffin, welcome to A Word Before We Leave. We're very happy to have you.
I'm very welcome to be here.
Griffin, would you like to tell the people of the world what exactly is it that gets you out of bed every single day?
Oh, damn, it depends on the day. Sometimes it's just the aspect of wanting to get out of bed, but I would say most of the time it's fighting the feeling of staying in bed all day. Or I think it's at the end of the day, it's, I don't want to go mad once again, or at least I want to have fun, and that's why you get out of bed, to create something, to do something, anything at all, or you just sleep, or like a lot of great artists, you stay in bed and you make a lot of artwork. I mean, but it was like Matisse, Frida Kahlo, Jean-Michel Basquiat, Tracy Emin. The point is, what gets me out of bed? I would say not wanting to feel like my bed is a coffin. That's what gets me out of bed.
So you've touched a little bit on artists, and specifically you being an artist.
Oh, well, yeah.
Do you want to talk about anything about your passions, about why you do art? What is the kind of art that you do for someone that's never seen what you work on? And then do you want to elaborate on like what inspires that art?
Yeah, totally. That's all I ever really want to talk about. No, that's not true. But I would say I had one friend describe my art as a propaganda, and I did not. I mean, in some way, I could understand where he was coming from, depending on like how you pitch it or how you swing it. But I would say, yeah. How would I describe my artwork? It's abstract for sure.
Is it painting? Is it watercolor?
Yeah, okay, we're talking about materials. I'm a mixed media artist, so everything just kind of floods to mind when I think about art. I'm just like covering it in special like a visual medium. So yeah, I do painting, I do sculpture, I do drawing. I was obsessed with Legos when I was a kid, and that's almost what started it all off. But I would say it's a mixed media, abstraction, pop culture, contemporary, experimental, avant-garde, blah, blah, blah. See it to believe it. Isn't it funny that we're in an audio medium talking about paintings?
See, there's something special about where we are actually recording the interview. So I'll give the listener a little rundown of the environment, please. Because I usually do. So right now we are in Griffin's indoor type garage-esque studio for art. We're outside of his apartment. We are, I would say, a little bit south of Hollywood right now.
Yes.
And what I can see around me is I am sitting in a antique wooden chair. Griffin's sitting in a older leather-bound cushioned wood chair. My laptop recording the audio is sitting on what would look like any normal artist yellow chair. This is something
it's one of like a 4 set of a kitchen dining sets from like the 1950s.
And then to the left of me, I have about, what would you describe the size of these paintings?
Oh man, they range from the tallest probably being like what? You'd probably say like 12, 13 feet.
I would say that's a 12-foot painting.
Yeah, right. And I would, I mean, the size is probably at the largest. We're going 12 by 30 feet with the stretch canvas. Could be larger, a lot of different dimensions. The smallest ones I have are probably the size of your palm, and the largest ones are the size of like 6 or 7 grown men. Yeah,
I'd say that is quite accurate, actually. So I got large paintings to the left of me. To the right of me, I got a barn door open, and it's raining right now. It's actually raining. I'm sure you guys can hear it a little bit.
Yeah, it's raining quite enjoyably, might I add.
Do we want to give the people a little second just to kind of hear the environment outside?
Oh, just to take it in? Yes, please. And that's enough of that.
So, Griffin, at what age did you start painting, and why?
Ooh, okay, so art in general I've been doing since I was a kid. And I guess there was probably some finger painting classes or something when I was in like preschool or elementary, or just like growing up, playing with different things. But really seriously painting probably started when I was like 16. Before that, it was a lot of drawing. The first painting that I ever made, where I really put my heart and soul into it, was this meme that a lot of people may be familiar if they grew up in the early 2000s. It is the dick butt meme. Do you know what I'm talking about, Brett?
I don't.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
It's a guy who is a dick, but he is a butt, and then he has a dick butt coming out of his butt. And I believe it just says dick butt underneath it. I could be wrong.
Okay, I might know what this is.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like I can imagine it right now. It's like a very like absurd.
It's very absurd.
Kind of like very simple.
Yeah, it's almost it's like Pete
black and white
early
memes. Sketch.
Yeah, I think I painted the background like blue or something. Yeah, but the original is just black and white. It's like the Me Gusta face or whatever in that nature. But the point is, that's what started it all off. And then from there, when I was like 16, I moved out of my parents' place into my friend's trailer. And like,
what year is this?
This is I mean, I was 16 or 17, so probably 2018, 2017. And I mean, yeah, I was 16 or 17 when I moved out, but before that I'd already gotten pretty serious about painting. I would probably say like 15. I can remember very specifically I had an ego death for the first time on viewer discretion advised LSD. And I just remember coming back into myself, just being like, you are an artist. This is what you're doing. Like, just trust me. I made an audio recording to listen in the morning. But anyways, all that aside, got very serious from there, moved to my friend's trailer, and from there on out, it's just been going hard in the paint, quite literally. How am I passionate about? What makes me passionate about it? I mean, it's freedom of expression. It's something, as much as like collaboration, I think is very important. I love the fact that I can do this without anybody else for the most part. And I can really do anything and everything. And more than that, you know, it's fascinating when you have artists come into the world that make images that have never been seen before, ever, or imagined, or aren't really like stacked up to the world around them. I mean, like, or what you could say, like, as a Warhol way, like a happening in a way, like the pop culture movement, or like Cubism, or abstraction, or Impressionism, or the list goes on.
So have you done any schooling on art or technique, or have you kind of self-taught yourself, found what works for you, what makes you kind of continue to grow as an artist, but also, yeah, the main question is like, what do you consider your form of training? What do you consider your form of practice? Where does your improvement come from?
I think the main thing that comes from like improvement is just consistently, you know, doing it, like as simple as that. In terms of like actual schooling, I had like a few different art teachers all throughout school. And like middle school, I had one, and she hated me, but that's a whole other thing. Miss something, I will not say her name, but
the shout out on that episode is just not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen today. No. Miss whatever, I love you, and I guess you taught me some valuable lessons, but also, come on, man, I was a good artist. You're taking it so hard on me. That's besides the point. Anyways, yeah, I mean, yeah, I haven't really had that much technical schooling from like a teacher, but it's a lot of it has been online through books, copying illustrations. I mean, George B. Kondo, I believe is his name. No, George B. Bridgman is a really great illustrator to kind of learn the forms and the figures from, you know, Leonardo da Vinci. Really, I mean, if you want to learn and become technically proficient and well crafted at something, like, you can nowadays. You know, I mean, it's like Apple and Google, they don't even require a college certificate.
It's more of just like, what direction do you go in? And yeah, I think there actually is something to say about modern education with the access to the internet and what's come from it. Because, I mean, I would consider the podcast itself can be somewhat educational towards a daily philosophy point of view. But also, you sometimes don't have the choice at what you're accessing on the internet. And so you going out there and specifically looking for different artists, different books, different inspirations.
The thing. You have to have intention of, like, you have to actually have a thought in your mind. You can't just be scrolling through a mindless algorithm.
Sure.
Because at a certain point, it just starts refreshing the same stuff because you're not actually trying to find it.
Or it's just shoving advertisements down your throat.
Exactly. And it's like timing the length that you stop on a post and everything. Like, that algorithm is a fascinating thing on its own. But the main thing is that, yeah, like, if the key, the secret to everything, I guess, something like that, like, you know, me at like 13 was so obsessed with is like shortcuts or whatever. But truly, it's like, no, you just have to be super fucking mindful and aware and learn as much as you can. And yeah, it's just work out, sleep, eat well, and keep studying, I guess, and act. But I don't know. Like, I say this, living a very wild life and getting results I want. I don't know.
Do you want to talk about said wild life?
Yeah, I suppose, like, yeah, I shouldn't really say I don't know. It's just that, like, said wildlife would be the fact of, like, my parents were both Jehovah's Witnesses, and then I grew up with, like, my mom as I grew up as an only child with a single mom who is also an aspiring actress, and is an actress, and a writer and director and all sorts of shit. But I don't know, like, I've moved just about every single year of my life, and I'm 21. In times when I didn't move, I moved twice. What else in there? I mean, I moved out when I was 16 and stayed in a trailer for a while. I was bopping around a couple of friends' places. From there, when I was like 2 or 3, for whatever reason, I was born with a wedgie fetish. Could you believe that?
What do you mean a wedgie fetish? Like, you're like, you want to give people wedgies?
Oh,
you give yourself a wedgie?
Let me just say yes to any and all speculations that you could have about that statement. And like, and that was something that's like, yeah, that'll make you a little odd, little wild thing. If you're so tiny and small and you're like in elementary school and you realize, what am I compared to all these little children around me? But you have this deep festering sexuality where you can't even come. Like, children's in their sexualities. So strange, so weird. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's grody, it's icky, but everybody experienced it.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Do you think I'm speechless right now.
I think you like that.
I didn't think. Do you think growing up with, like you said, your mom was an actress?
Yes.
Do you think growing up with an artistic medium of a parent affected you to lean more towards something of the arts?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, my dad was in the picture, but I knew that he was a visual artist. And from what I've seen in photos and talking to family members, like, he was a good visual artist, and that kind of stuck with me. And I've never been super obsessed with like acting and everything, but there's always been something that's kind of clicked with visual art for me. Even just thinking about, what I mentioned earlier about playing with Legos as a kid, just building things. I think creating things hands-on for me, as making something that physically takes up space and lasts is such a magnificent thing. And not just that, but I mean, you can create physical things in your environment around you if you get really, really proficient and technically mastered in terms of, I mean, you could say like ecology. You could say, is botany part of ecology? I would say so, but you could say mechanics, and then you could say like welding in there, or all the trades or whatever. Then you could become, hypothetically, a person that could literally make anything. And what is a sexier thought than that?
Do you find that your future aspirations and goals lean more towards limitless creation?
Yeah, no, that's actually spot on, nail on the head. Yeah, I mean that's
so. What's one project that you feel like you had a taste of that you've done in the past?
You're saying endless creativity? What's like
maybe not endless creativity, but what made you realize?
No. I don't mean my tone to say like that's ridiculous or anything. I just mean like that exact feeling. Yeah, to boil that down, I think it's anybody that's ever been in a flow state, creating anything, or working out, or really doing any like physical action. Where you feel like it's endless when you lose yourself, as Eminem would say. But but yeah, I mean, like I would say a year or two ago, before I went like completely psychotic and all this stuff, I sent myself to a psych ward twice. And see, that's the funny thing about when you say that you're wild, like you really have to mean it. Like,
I mean, there is some form of the language that we use to talk about ourselves. We will end up believing even subconsciously. So like, think about when someone looks in the mirror and they're like,
there's a quote like that where it's like, be careful what you pretend to be because you'll inevitably become it. I'm forgetting exactly what's from though.
I'm not sure who said that, but that's exactly what I was getting at. I mean, like, you could be with a group of friends and you could say something and people would look at you and be like, haha, that wasn't that funny. And you'd be like, oh, I'm so stupid.
No,
that
I
subconsciously
totally
can resonate in your head.
Where
and
you're
then you
going
start
with
to believe
this.
You may not feel like you actually are stupid, but just even joking about who you are as a person, especially in a negative connotation, can affect you because you will start to believe those things and it will become a pattern of repetition.
Well, I think that there's something to recognizing, and I think that you're right about being very careful about language and everything in terms of like, you know, if you're saying a bunch of sad shit, horrible shit to yourself,
especially about
yourself,
yourself,
movie,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Your brain is going to take that as being true. But I think that there's also something about recognizing yourself against like the background of society and what people call certain things. And it's almost like just being able to speak the language,
Yeah.
you know, in a way. Because I feel like in some circumstances, people think that I'm talking in like riddles or something.
Well, you can talk directly to the listener right now because I'm guessing there's going to be some people that are going to be like, who the hell is this guy?
Oh, yeah, no, I would love to. What can I say to you, you saucy little dalliance, you little fine, fiery minx? Well, I would say I'm in your ears right now if you're wearing earbuds, or I'm in your car, or you're listening to this in the bathroom, or at work, or in your home. Maybe I was wrong about all those. In a garage, somewhere, on a plane, I just want to make it feel like it's very meta, like I am here with you. That it's not just an experience of like listening to a podcast, but it's an experience of not being a fly on the wall, but like I am somehow sitting next to you, and Brett is sitting next to you, but behind me in my head, I don't know, I could go on forever. The main thing to say is, you know, have fun. Remember to masturbate. Religion can be like a good, helpful thing, but don't get too hung up on what you think God wants or doesn't want. At the end of the day, if like, come on, you're going to get judged when you die, and then it's just a big old like, nah, you're bad, and that's it forever. Come on, have a little bit of fun. But, you know, to put a nice little pretty pink ribbon on it, I would say, I really appreciate Brett inviting me to this podcast, and keep on listening, you know?
And that's a perfect segue to the next segment of the show. This is going to be wordplay. Welcome back to A Word Before We Leave. My name is Brett Gaffney. This is the segment that started us off from the start. This is the final episode of Season 1, if you didn't know. We will be transitioning into Season 2, and we will dive into a bunch more conversations with people. But for now, wordplay. So, premise of this game, I'm going to count down from 3. We're going to talk over each other. Once I hit 1, we're going to say the first word that comes to our mind. Nothing in the room, nothing that we've previously said. Try not to repeat yourself, you know. And then from there on, we will hopefully say the same word. Once we've said that, the interview will continue.
Hell yeah, this is actually a favorite game of mine. Let's go.
I need to think of a word for a second. I got a word.
Okay.
Do you have a word?
Okay. Yeah. I
Okay.
do.
3, 2, 1.
Ergot.
Meringue.
What did you say?
I said meringue.
Meringue? And I
you
said
said ergot.
ergot. Yeah, what's wrong with me? Why?
I don't even know what an ergot is. Ergot?
Oh, it's like it was the first word that came to my mind.
Anyways, we're gonna keep moving. From
We're gonna
that.
keep on moving.
We're gonna use those 2 words and then work our way down.
Let's keep going.
Can't talk about it. That's the part of the game.
Yeah, that's part
So
of it.
we got meringue and ergot.
Ergot.
3, 2, 1. Absurdity. Absurdity and blurb.
Okay.
Blurb. Absurdity.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Zine.
Vogue and zine.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Magazine.
Text and magazine.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Periodical. Oh,
Damn it, periodical.
It came out of nowhere.
Okay.
3, 2. Wait,
1.
no, I don't have it. I don't have one.
No, I have
Book
one.
and periodical. Oh, I got it. 3, 2, 1.
Dictionary.
Sentence and dictionary.
3,
3,
2,
1.
1. Word. Yes. Boom.
Fire.
The dynamite.
Sorry if I broke your ears on that one.
I am not. That was so enjoyable.
What a quick little wordplay. Are you ready to move into the next questions?
Why, yes, I am. Yeah. I
Okay.
feel nice and hot again.
Griffin Katz,
Oh, yes.
where do you see yourself in 10 years?
You know, it's really funny. As I took very meticulous, copious notes of your last podcast before I would do this one to understand what I was in for, I came across this question. And would you believe it? About a month before my last journal entry is that exact answer to that question. So I give you two choices. You can read the journal entry, or I can give you an answer.
I want to hear it from you.
It's beautiful. I would say 10 years from now. Some of your viewers are going to be pissed, man. Like some of your listeners, they're going to be very upset. They're going to want the taste for that. We're never going to give it to them. You know why? Because it's Tarantino's fucking suitcase, man. That's a beautiful thing you just made. But the point is, where do I see myself 10 years from now? I'm dead.
Really?
So
I mean,
dark.
you can be honest about that.
So dark.
Do you actually?
10 years from now? No. I mean,
You hope
some
not.
horrible circumstances, maybe, but who knows? 10 years from now, if I can choose whatever I want, I can do whatever I want, become whatever I want. If I really stick to my guns, if I'm super disciplined.
From
I
like
know
a
at least
realistic...
3 other languages. Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah.
3 other languages. I'm working as a well-paid, well-known artist, which really the well-known and the fame, it just has some other perks that are kind of necessary to do other things, which I would like to do, which is besides the point. No, I'd love to have a horse. That would be great. But that's all like side, like fluff. 10 years from now, who would I really want to be? What I want to do? You know, I would hope that I'm actually in charge of myself fully, mentally and emotionally and physically, and somebody who can every single thing they say, it like they will do. There is no fucking around with anything. They are not just a go-to man. They are the unbelievable fucking throwing in your hat in the ring into a ring of fire. I don't know. I would say like there's so much that I want, and 10 years from now, I just want to have it all. Yeah, I mean, travel a lot, of course, travel more, travel for the first time. I've never been out of the country.
Really?
Yeah, never once. I mean, around America and everything. But besides that, I would say I would want a good broad scientific knowledge, because I would like to start working on like interplanetary travel as like a hobby, though. That's not like my main thing I want to get paid for. That's my own side project. Okay.
Do you think science will be advanced enough for you to do that
Science would be advanced enough
in 10 years to do interplanetary travel?
There's only one way to find out, and that's to what is it, Brett?
To do it?
Fuck around and find out.
Might as well.
Might as well. But yeah, I mean, who knows? The greatest minds and inventions, in some ways, is like history and society could say, came from like total freaks, where they were called like quacks for a long time. But then, wouldn't you know it, a light bulb gets made, and that's unbelievable. So
He went through like 600 to 700 iterations of the light
Yeah.
bulb before he actually got one.
I think before that, when he
and
was
it was the filament. It was the filament that was.
it was the
problem.
filament, yeah. And then it like what?
It was
wasn't
either
there
too
now?
hot, or it was blowing up, or it
Yeah.
was creating fire.
No, but wasn't there now? Is it like iron, copper? Was it zinc?
Not sure.
Me neither. Fuck. I feel like we should know that. We use light bulbs every day.
Yeah, yeah.
That's strange.
It is strange how technology can ingrain itself so casually into society to the point where we don't actually know what we're using. We know it works, but we don't know how it works. And there's ways to know how it works, but the casual human has just implemented that into their daily life. I mean, you think about like 100 years from now, 200 years from now, the amount of technological growth that has happened over the history of humankind has increased by almost 2,000% on this very day. You know, our growth rate for technological improvement is such an exponential rate. This is some of the biggest amount of tools that we've made since the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
it's only been like since then like 200 years.
And it's only exponentially growing faster and faster and faster. I mean, AI is something that is going to, one word people could say is like revolutionize our lives, but it's going to drastically change what the status quo is.
What is your thoughts as an artist with AI?
The first thought I have, I guess, personally, in terms of like me creating my own artwork, which I've had just in general, like thinking about like photography, and I'd say AI almost in a way with these artificial pieces of artwork that are like you pop in a data prompt and then just spits out. It could even be moving images, it can be living images, it can be all sorts of stuff. I mean, pretty soon, I won't be surprised when we have not. But it won't seem like a deep fake anymore. It'll just seem like you and I talking like this.
Sure.
But I mean,
like recreating scenes of politics, recreating
anything, any
you could
painting,
any imagery,
any
that you
realistic
want to put into
image
a
you
database.
want. But something that's fascinating about when you have certain prompts that you have to put in for AI to make artworks from is it's taking it from, living people and artists of work that they made. So my goal originally with art was to make things that you don't see in the world around you that have yet to be created. That as far as we can get out into the cosmos, it's just shit. It's conceptually, it's
not been done
mechanically. Yeah, I mean, you could go down the line. I guess I would explain it. It just hasn't been done. It's new, as simple as that. Something to add to the collective consciousness, I suppose.
Do you think,
and that hasn't changed with AI coming around.
So, do you think that the implementation of AI and technology into the world of art, which I personally believe art is the reason humans like it so much is because there's such a human touch. Do you think AI art will ever get to a point where it is no longer necessary for humans to create art?
No, because I think that human beings find it necessary in themselves to create art. Otherwise, they can't live, or they can't live well. That's a very important distinction between just being alive and then you're actually living or feeling like you're living. And I would say no. Like technology can get as great as it wants. As people keep on fucking and making more people, there will eventually be somebody who wants to make something with their own hands.
I think that speaks very true. I agree. Are there any thoughts or pieces of expression that you explore in a lot of your art? Any reoccurring themes or patterns that you've noticed in yourself? For instance, maybe it's a reflection of mental health. Maybe it's a reflection of sexuality, spirituality, drugs, rock and roll.
Well, I would just have to say yes to everything that you just listed and more. In terms of like series I've done or broad similarities, I had this whole thing of like a fractal series. I mean, you could say that they are all fractal for sure. Most definitely, whether or not it's just like a portrait or an actual fractal image. But I did like a 40 series of people during COVID of images pulled online, and then like 30 series, 25 series of pop culture stuff. Done a few series I've seen like cigarettes pop up as a motif in my artwork, but I guess people could say triangles as well. Also dashes, lines, dots. I think that repetition appears repetitiously in my artwork.
How do you feel when you see some of your art?
Horny.
Really?
Honestly.
Really?
If you could shine a black light in here, you would be amazed.
I don't want to see that.
And who knows if I'm joking,
this chair is clean, yeah?
Or I'm lying or not. It wouldn't be the chairs, silly. It would be the paintings. The doy.
Right.
Who knows?
Of course. Jackson Pollock, as some might say.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Gosh. I mean, that's what I call it. It's a signature move. It's to really know that the piece is mine. But besides that, oh my God, I totally went off course in my Jackson Pollock bit. I'm so embarrassed. You were talking about, the art around me and everything. How I feel about it.
I mean, it's an honest answer, really. Some people do and this isn't a topic I actually talk about a lot on the podcast, and that is like the internal desire, the sexuality, and how people feel about the stuff they make, not just from like a personal level, but like a physical
one more
level.
time. Like hit me with that question one more time.
How do you feel when you look at your art?
How do I feel when I look at my art? Man,
I mean, you can look at your art right now. Like it's beside you.
That's a very good point.
But I don't want you to do anything.
Gallery in my mind, though. Okay, well, when I look at my art, I would say, I guess it depends on which pieces I'm looking at. But for the most part, I think, I guess there can be like pride and joy, but I think that there's like truth that I'm trying to go after as a feeling, and something that's not just like pretty or beautiful, but something that is not from here, something that you would find somewhere very, 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 very far away, or something maybe that people hate that has the capacity to be hated or loved or, you know, mocked. Something that I guess the feeling is fucking feeling feelings back from it, which is kind of a cop out, right? But at the same time, like, isn't that? It's
like a mirror.
It's a mirror. That's exactly it.
I heard a quote. I don't know who quoted this, but I think it was actually just a friend of mine back at college, and he was making a drawing and he showed it to me, and then he goes, "This doesn't look like me, but when I draw this, I see my soul."
Yeah.
Do you feel like your art is an expression or a reflection of your soul? Do you believe in a soul?
So my art reflection of my soul.
If you don't believe in a soul, then the answer would be no, I'm guessing.
But to believe in a soul, like, you have to think of like what a soul is, right? Are we just talking about like what? It's like the essence of your being? Is that what we're going with for a soul?
Yeah, the you outside of the physical you.
Gotcha. Okay, so the you that's really true. Like, what would you call soul consciousness, though?
A connection of consciousness. I mean, I'm a religious man. I'm Christian by faith, but I fundamentally believe that there is a soul that exists in the universe outside of what would be called the meat suit that is my body, my organs, my bones.
Well, I think it's funny because like there is a distinction between like what the soul and consciousness, but in some ways to me, I just kind of think about it as like it's one of the same thing, you know. And
it's you.
It's you. It's a thing that is you. Talking about the soul of the universe, you know, the consciousness of the universe and everything, universal consciousness or what have you. But I guess I would say my consciousness and my pain, my soul. I guess I can't say that I don't think I have a soul, but I would say it's more like consciousness than anything. Because soul to me, I'm like, well, doesn't consciousness also entail like, you know, my feelings and everything too? And it's not just like a thinking working mechanism. I would say, yeah, consciousness is your soul, which means I believe in consciousness. And that's your answer to that. And do I try to put my consciousness in my artwork and everything? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, without doubt.
You ready for the next segment?
Hell yeah.
This is going to be a variation on the last segment. I just wanted to improve it.
Nice.
So this is one word. And I mean, it's a word before we leave. It's all word-based. Perfect. I'm going to say a word. You're going to say a word. And We'll just go on until we've reached some epiphany.
I got my word. I'm projecting it as hard as I can at you right now.
But we're not going to talk at the same time. And we'll just go for like 2 minutes. See what happens. Security.
Safety.
Mother.
Father.
Brother.
Sister.
Music.
Love.
Movies.
Fun.
Food.
Mindless.
Books.
Interesting.
God. Death. Space.
Yeah, baby.
Escape.
Of course.
Ocean.
Yummy.
Prison. Fire.
Ooga, ooga.
Air.
Whoosh.
Existence.
I'm doing it, brother.
Tide.
Pole.
Sun.
Heat.
Moon.
Fun.
Exercise.
Necessary.
Breath.
Vital.
Nutrients.
Enjoyable.
Art.
Lovely.
Painting.
Sexy.
Sex.
Sexy.
Wood.
Hungry.
Pasture.
Cows.
Farm.
Farmer.
Society.
Destruction.
Government.
Greater destruction.
Business.
A necessary form of evil.
Freedom.
Miracle.
Words.
Talking.
Life.
Existence.
And there it is. One word. If you're a psychologist and you listen to this, take from that what you will.
Send me an email, will ya?
Analyze this man. I mean, I'm sure half the audience right now is hypercritically examining you, but we're inviting them to.
I did a great job here today.
You're probably making someone feel good about themselves because they're not you.
If somebody's very upset right now in whatever capacity,
like, this episode's disgusting.
Disgusting.
I wouldn't call it that.
They feel,
I think this interview's going quite well.
It's almost like it's such a compliment to, like, if somehow somebody like
You're
found
evoking
me and reached out to me and they were like, I fucking hated that. I listened to the whole thing. I'd be like, you listened to the whole thing and you hated it? What are you talking about? And they're like, why'd you listen to the whole thing? If someone was like, I listened to the first 5 minutes and just turn it off, I'd be like, damn, man, maybe you should listen to the whole thing.
This is my least PG episode I've ever made. Most of it's quite
What
family
would you rate
friendly.
it? Like R, X? You know what? I would say
Language based, yeah.
I toned myself down for you. Like,
I
for
know
sure.
you did.
This is like,
I work with this
what would you
man.
say, like
We've had
20%?
crazy conversations.
Yeah.
Are you ready to dive into some of the final questions?
Oh yeah, totally. Born ready.
What do you wish someone told you as a kid that no one ever actually told you?
Wish I knew what I knew now when I was younger. Oh, young Granda. I think I would have to go with, consistency is the key to everything. And as long as you can keep consistent small growths, I guess simply trust the process, little bit by bit. Be the turtle. Because that rabbit, rabbits are sweet, but they shit everywhere. And a turtle, they live to be like 200 years old, like max. Do you want to be somebody that shits everywhere, or lives to be 200? Simple as that.
I love the Aesop's Fables reference. That was like one of my favorite books as a kid. Just like the rabbit and the tortoise and the tortoise and the hare.
Man. It's just like the scorpion and the toad.
Old wives' tale.
Yeah, exactly.
What has some of the darker moments in your life brought out to now?
Ooh, darker moments in my life. Is this when we start to talk about death? I know that you want to talk about death more, and I'm so down to talk about death. The darker moments of my life. Oh, I lost a sibling, which was so hard, and that was when I was like 15. My dad died when I was like 16.
How'd they die, if you don't mind me asking?
One was a stillborn. My dad, he had a heart attack, but the details are sketchy on that. Almost like a suicide in a way, just the way he ended up living his life. Other sad things, I don't know. Like, you lose friends, you lose people. Going to the psych ward twice was fucking hard and shitty. Bad relationships. Just being let down by people. The hard things in life, I think it's the days that you can't get out of bed. That is fucking hard. If you cannot get out of bed, I salute you. And should I say, try to fish flop your body out of bed. At least just make it to the floor. Maybe you'll feel worse.
For someone that's maybe going through something terrible right now, what would you say to them?
I would say that I'm sorry. It really sucks. And probably not as bad as you are. I mean, I don't know you whatsoever, who I could be talking to. You, the saucy redhead with the green eyes, or you, the blonde German boy with the blue hair. But I don't know. It doesn't matter. I would say that the main thing is like, it doesn't shake it off. Laugh like a maniac. Be a kook. Roll around in your bed. Start pulling off, scene from like the classic Exorcist. Really just be thrashing around. Don't hurt yourself, mind you. But really, it's like getting the nervousness out of you when you're a kid before doing like a school performance. Like you shake your body out and everything. And you just got to do something to snap your brain out of catatonia, I think. Or just repetitive thoughts. And something that exerts a lot of physical motion, I think, or is just going to snap you out of your own head. Maybe cold shower. But besides that, if you're stuck in your bed and you're super depressed, I would go with, you just got to be weird, start making animal noises, all sorts of stuff, flapping your hands around, doing a chicken dance. Just do things that, like, they're absurd, and maybe that will make you realize even depression is absurd, and then you can laugh at something, which is a lot better than just not even going about it, but just now, and listen very carefully to this. You hear that? There's nothing at all. There are no thoughts. You're in a snowblind of just sadness, awfulness, however you want to put it. And you need somebody to hit you in the face with a snowball, or yourself, not a snowball with a rock in it, but something that's going to make you realize like the distance around you. It's not just a snowblind, so to speak.
So I'm an avid practicer of meditation, and one of my favorite meditation practices that I do, quick 5-minute meditation, is I like to imagine the expansion of the mind. I will put myself in a state of prosperity, state of peace, and then I will slowly imagine the size of my mind expanding outside of myself. And it fills the room. Then it fills the apartment. Then it fills the block. Then it starts expanding outwards and outwards. And you want to get to the point where you can have your mind touch the world, and then touch the galaxy, then touch the universe, and understand how not just small we are physically compared to some of the largest carbon structures of space, like a star or a sun or a solar system. But it's also to show you that there is peace within the moment of existence that you can experience right now. And that's why meditation is somewhat all about the breath, because you can focus on one thing so deeply that when the passing thoughts come through, the clouds of the mind, you can witness them but not hold on to them.
Also have like a shaky, I'm paraphrasing out my ass here, but just remember something about like meditating for even like 5 or 10 minutes a day increases like gray matter on your brain, which as far as I can recall, and don't exactly quote me on this, but it's like neuroconductivity. It just allows your synapses to fire faster. But yeah, meditating I think is a great way to achieve that.
And
that feeling.
I mean, here with the podcast, we like to provide not just words of wisdom and advice, but also resources if we can. So seriously, if you are in a dark place and the thrashing around hasn't awoken a flame within you, hasn't relit the candle, so to speak, there are also other ways where Griffin might thrash. I might sit in silence.
I mean, I say thrash in such a way like...
But it was an exciting, peaceful way you described it. I was sitting here and I just wanted to listen to you talk.
About thrashing?
I'm serious.
Beautiful. Oh, wonderful.
It was
That's
actually
great.
Tremendous just being here in that moment. You know, I wasn't worried about anything for some reason. There was a lot of peace. So I commend you for that.
Oh, nice.
And giving that to the people.
Yeah, you become a little alligator slipping, sliding around in your bed like a little eel.
Yeah.
You're going to feel some peace, at least for a moment. So some
Griffin,
joy.
One more question and then the final question. So two more
nice.
questions.
Okay, yeah.
So I see on your wall behind you a structure of what could be considered a person with a sun around their head.
Mm-hmm.
And then the words, live fully, live wholly, act with love, rise above.
He was a poet and didn't even know it, folks.
What is something you would say to the person that might not be living fully, wholly, and with love? And how can they rise above?
I would say take it with a grain of salt. May have been super stone writing those. I believe that the above up there has 2 U's, I think.
It does.
It does. Perfect. Well, how can you live that way? For the instance of how I said it, if I was stoned, I guess smoke a joint. But besides that, focus on yourself. Have other people in your brain that are in the immediate vicinity of your life, that they care for you and you care for them and you love them. Really, friends that you make become family and family in general, yada, yada. But the point is that how do you, to put it in a much more JCPenney way, I want to say, but how do you live, laugh, love fully? Is JCPenney even the right one? Kroger's? I don't know. But, I don't know, man. You have to work for it sometimes, and you have to let yourself enjoy things and fully immerse yourself in them. You have to be present. And there is something very annoying about cliches, but they're cliches for a reason at times. And yeah, the sentiment live, laugh, love is great, but you say that and you post it everywhere, it's gonna make you want to puke. Or it just becomes satire at that point. There's no actual weight behind it. But I would say, do the things that you enjoy. Take a long hot bath. If you live in the city, make sure to drive out of the city once in a while. It'll make you crazy. If you don't live in the city, try to drive to the city once in a while. They're pretty fun. But at the end of the day, never hold your farts in. I think that's actually a core tenet to the key pieces, the key scriptures that your beautiful host had just read. Don't hold your farts in. It's a huge metaphor for life. You just want to live your life that way, of making yourself have this pain. Let your farts out. That's nice. I didn't expect it to go that way.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Griffin Katz, would you care to share a word before we leave?
Yes. No, I'm just joking. That's not my word. Okay. So, hey there, little bluebird. If you can hear me while you flutter by, I'm trying to stay golden. I really am. Yeah, if that means anything. I guess I'm saying that to myself more than the little bird. Bye, little bird. The fact that you stopped by my windowsill at all was amazing. But that's not a word, is it? Bluebird, fly on home.
People of the world, bluebird, fly on home. Griffin Katz. Well, now I'm going to say some quick thank yous, and that is season 1 of A Word Before We Leave. This is Brett Gaffney and
Griffin Katz.
Griffin Katz. So here at A Word Before We Leave, first and foremost, I would like to thank you, the listener. You have joined me from the start, and we have grown as an audience and as a community through the episodes. I know it's only a monthly show, and I wish I had the resources to make it more of a weekly thing, but where I'm at right now, I don't. So I just want to thank you for continuously being patient with me and for joining me in these conversations. And now, some more specific thank yous. I would like to thank Griffin Katz, Emily Shakai, Lizzie Bromley, Cole Sage, Miley Garcia, Jacob Harding, Sam Harding, Parker Ryle, Morgan McCoy, Ishan Parikh, and Rick Alloway for assigning me to make a podcast episode at the end of college. Thank you for turning that one homework assignment into this community, these people. We may be small, we may be few, but we are mighty, we are strong, and we care about humans, and we care about people and living life to the fullest. We care about participating in existence and telling ourselves, even when we feel like we're not at our best, that it's not a bad life, it's just a bad day. Thank you so much for joining me, and maybe You too can scream like an animal today. This has been Brett Gaffney. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again soon on season 2 of A Word Before We Leave. Now, this is going to be fun because I'm on the door.
Fantastic.
But I will
Wait,
just...
what do you mean, Joe? So,
It doesn't always end until it ends. So, this is the action of me slamming a door.
I can appreciate that. Is that...